Hi guys, Harry here and welcome to my breakdown of Doctor Who Episode 5 Interrogation, in which it is just a shock on what happens. But before we get into this video, don't forget to subscribe, also leave a like and comment down below, and let's get into the video. So, this video opens up maybe a couple of hours or maybe just a couple of minutes of where Angel's left off. And Abby, Shauna and Cleo get thrown into a locked room. And it is just shocking to see this happen to these three girls. It is just like never in a million years would I thought this would happen. But this is where it has been left off, which shows that this organisation, although a bit ragtag, is no organisation to mess with. However, all the girls take different approaches to being lost in this room. Abby tries the door, which is maybe a reference to Day of the Doctor, where the War Doctor, the 10th Doctor and the 11th Doctor were not locked in the Tower of London.
400 years in 4 seconds. We may have had our differences, which is frankly odd in the circumstances, but I tell you what, boys, we are incredibly clever. How did you do that? It wasn't locked. Right.
However, Abby, Shauna and Cleo are locked in this room, and Abby tries to break it down, but obviously fails. However, Cleo does have a better chance of what she was trying to do. She was trying to free herself from these zip ties in which they had their hands tied together with. And again, zip ties, I mean, you can get them for quite a low price. You can get them for less than £1. So, I mean, is again a ragtag organisation. However, Cleo frees herself, which she learnt from a TikTok video. And obviously everything is on TikTok now. Try to free yourself from zip tie handcuffs. And also the person that was our Eurovision candidate who came second place, so well done to him. But past that, Cleo frees Abby and Shauna as well, and then Shauna gets taken first, however, by these interrogators, and that is where the interrogation part of this episode comes into play. And the sound design is just amazing. I mean, it starts off with Cleo and Abby listening, and then it like sort of rises up and clarifies Shauna and the interrogator's voice more to where you're in the room with it. So, the interrogator is revealed as Miller, and I don't want to spoil which organisation this is, but it does get revealed at the end of this episode, which I really wish they hadn't have revealed that, because it would have made what I'm going to say more believable, but we'll get to that in a minute. I don't find any mention of him, so I don't know who he is. However, a bigger shock is that Shauna, that they know about the podcast that the girls do, and Shauna says, "Is this because of the missing people?" And Miller goes, "What missing people?" And Shauna goes, "Well, all these missing people." And he's like, "There's no missing people." And she's like, "Yeah, it was on the news." And he's like, "Well, here's a newspaper." And the front page news that these people had gone missing had vanished. So this is the first physical form, like a newspaper that has of information of stuff that has gone missing. Because before this point, it was only people's minds or computer information on computers. And that has gone as well. So it is just massive. It has gone massive. However, Miller threatens Shauna and Abby when they don't comply with him, when they don't know who the Doctor is, which is a big point. The only person that remembers the Doctor is Cleo. So, Abby and Shauna don't know the Doctor, and they are not messing about with Miller. They literally don't know who the Doctor is. They can't remember her. However, he threatens a family member because he thinks that they are messing around. They're not telling him the whole truth. And he threatens Shauna's grandmother and Abby's mother, and this is just insane. Imagine an organisation like UNIT or Torchwood doing this, and yes, it is revealed that it is UNIT. And I thought, how terrible, like, that. I really did think it would maybe, oh, if this is Unit or Torchwood, they could do this, but it's terrible. I would never think that they would actually do it. But remember how we've seen them Torchwood treat the Weevils, lock them in cages, and also the other aliens they've come across as well. And I think it's just insane. Think of Bradley Walsh, the 13th Doctor's companion for the first 2 series of the 13th Doctor series. Bradley Walsh was Graham, and another big role of his was as a detective sergeant in Law and Order UK. And the thing is, the prosecution are the good people in this. They're the main characters. And of course, we all want them to win. But to think about it, their tactics are a lot underhand. And even though they might be right in the end, they did do this, they don't do it the right way. And Unit in this episode are not doing it the right way. However, Miller also reveals that all the people they interviewed disappeared after they met them and had an interview with them. Rani disappeared. Now that could be because she actually did get redacted after, or just because she was preoccupied with the alien. And also Penny Carter from The Observer, she disappeared, and Dr. Oliver Morgenstein disappeared. So maybe because they had to remember the Doctor, that made them again come up in this redactedness, and it made them remember the Doctor too much, and they got redacted from reality by that. And it's insane. So all these people that they've had these conversations with have disappeared. And if Rami has disappeared, this is a big, big deal. However, Cleo is the only one that can remember the Doctor, as I have mentioned before, and she goes along, obviously, with the interrogator. The interrogator, Miller, comes again, and he takes Cleo, and he threatens her family member. Tries to. And he tries to threaten her, and she goes, well, you got nothing on me. You can't intimidate me. Like, she's scared every time she goes outside, every time she uses a public restroom. Like, being a trans person in this society, I can't even think to imagine what that is like. So it's just insane just to even think about what Cleo is going through in everyday life, and also other trans people. However, then the interrogator mentions the Doctor, and Cleo was, wait, the Doctor, you remembered the Doctor? And they have this, is a really nice moment. He's like, he becomes a lot nicer with Cleo, and he's like, the Doctor, I remember the Doctor. It's like, oh, it's such a relief to have people, someone else remember the Doctor. And then we get this static thing again, and it is horrifying. And and then again the sound design when he is disappearing, it goes quieter and quieter until he goes out of reality, and he whispers, "Cleo, help me," which is exactly what Jordan said. Cleo, help me. So Cleo is at the head of this. There is something definitely going on around Cleo, and maybe it's because she's a trans person, as I did in my last video on Doctor Who Redacted, where maybe the redactedness isn't affecting her because of her transition, like being Jaden before and being Cleo now. However, then he disappears, and Kate Stewart enters, played by Gemma Redgrave, announcing herself as Chief Scientific Officer, which she first announced herself in The Power of Three. Same announcement, and she be's a lot nicer. But why is she just coming in now? Why were they so strong at this time? I mean, Kate Stewart is still in charge, whether it was before when they threw them into this cell or now. So why is she being so nice now? Why wasn't she just like that from the get-go? I mean, we've seen that in Doctor Who and the Sarah Jane Adventures. Unit being nice and just escorting their guests in to ask for their help. So why were they so heavy-handed the first time? However, of course, this is the first reveal that this is Unit, and Kate Stewart doesn't know who the Doctor is, because obviously Cleo was like, "Oh God, help me! This man's disappearing," and he said, just as he was talking about the Doctor, and Kate is like, the Doctor Who. So again, it's become like a thing every episode now, Doctor Who, because Abby and Shauna said that loads of times. So, she doesn't even know that the blue box is called a TARDIS, and even Abby and Shauna don't remember this guy interrogating them, and it is shocking because this is a real thing for Cleo. I mean, and we saw it with Abby and Shauna as well. They have been thrown in and interrogated relentlessly by this Miller, but then he's just gone, and there's nothing. It's just insane. However, there is this another agent called Roberts, and I couldn't find anything about him either, but he pulls a gun on them. However, Cleo realises something. UNIT knows nothing. They don't know who the Doctor is, and they don't know who is in charge of the blue box, or even that is called a TARDIS. So Cleo calls Roberts bluff. UNIT knows nothing, and just as we think he's about to shoot them, Cleo goes, "Come on then, shoot us. I know you won't. You got nothing. You need us." And that's where it ends. And it is insane. Probably one of the best episodes ever. We got UNIT back, not except necessarily the most about the lore of Doctor Who Redacted as we have in past episodes, but it was still great nonetheless. However, something I have yet to bring up is this redactedness. What is it? And the more and more it looks like, I don't want to say it because this had the fan base divided, but the cracks in time. This redactedness looks a lot like cracks in time. Not only did it change people's reality, the cracks in time, like this redactedness, it also took information and creatures from reality, like this redactedness. So it's it's starting to look a lot like the cracks in time, and I know that's going to annoy a lot of people, but that's how I see it. So maybe it's something to do with the cracks in time and the Time Lords coming back after Chibnall destroyed Gallifrey in series 12. So next on to the character development from Abby, Shauna and Cleo. So, Abby is the one that wants to leave the most. She is the one trying to break the door down, and she is the one most antsy to get out. So, that shows something that she really doesn't want to be in there. She thinks aliens have captured them, which of course goes with Abby's theme of aliens, and Abby's mum is the one that gets threatened by Miller, showing that Abby's mum is the most central person in her life. Now, similar with Shauna, as I said, her TikTok only shows conspiracies and fruitcake recipe videos. So, again, conspiracies is what she has revealed a lot. And a lot of her conspiracy theories are a bit fruitcake, let's be honest. Nothing against Shauna. Shauna also is the first to see the link between their kidnapping and the blue box. However, I will get on to Cleo seeming to dismiss it a bit later on when I go over Cleo's character development. But Shauna is the first one to see the link between that and the blue box. Shauna is also the one that is the first one to think that the interrogator is lying. However, she is the first one to be taken up to be interrogated. So there's something with that. Shauna's relative to get threatened is her grandmother, which shows that her grandmother is the most central focus in her life, even though we did see her arguing with her grandmother over Cleo and also Abby. And also, again, there's just a parallel. We see that UNIT has done something wrong, but Shauna is also doing something wrong. She's just thinking, this is a quote from Miller, "What, I'm evil because I'm wearing a uniform?" And Shauna says yes. But Shauna's being just as blatantly evil. I mean, she should know more than anyone. Just like being mean to someone because of what they look like. I mean, that's not cool. But that's what I saw in their character development. But next we are on Cleo. Cleo, again, is the calm head in the room, really. Cleo stops the others from arguing when they get in an argument about who took them. Cleo also remains calm to comfort the others when they have dealt with their interrogation. However, Cleo does have this breakdown with Shauna when she thinks maybe this is what happened to her dad, and maybe she wanted them to just kill her because maybe this is what happened to her dad, and eventually she can be with him. Again, I'm thinking maybe Cleo just has to accept this. Maybe she won't know whatever happened to her dad. Maybe he did just leave. However, Cleo remembers everyone, and she thinks maybe it would be better for everyone if she just faded from their memories, if she just disappeared, which shows that in the interview, that's why Miller couldn't threaten her. She really thinks no one is there for her. Only Abby, Shauna, and Jordan. Jordan has already disappeared. Abby and Shauna are there with her. Her dad's disappeared, and she has a bad relationship with her mum. She really has no one, and it's sad. However, it is revealed that Cleo grew up on the Powell estate, where a lot of the flats are empty, and that is because, obviously, this is where Rose Tyler grew up, where a lot of the action from season 1 and 2 happened, which would make a lot of sense. I mean, there was a lot of people saying, "Oh, Rose, I heard stuff about you," so that would explain why a lot of the flats are empty, and why a lot of people around Cleo's life have just disappeared, because she grew up on the Powell estate. However, Cleo says she doesn't believe in the podcast, and I know she's been harping this from episode 1, but as the episodes have gone on, she's got more and more into it, more so than Abby and Shauna. So I don't know why she's so quick to dismiss Shauna when she sees the link between this kidnapping and the blue box, because Cleo is the one that believes in the podcast really most of all, actually, now. However, Abby and Shauna are super worried about Cleo when she steps up to Roberts with the gun, and that's where the episode ends. But it shows that Cleo maybe is there to take a risk at it, and it's just insane. Like, maybe she feels immortal, but Abby and Shauna are definitely scared for her, which shows that they really care about her, and the world would definitely not be better off with Cleo disappearing, and the world would definitely not be better off with anyone disappearing. Now, this is just a YouTube channel about Doctor Who and Pokemon, but really, if you are suffering with your mental health, talk to someone. You matter. You have a voice. Just talk to someone. BetterHelp, all those companies out there. BetterHelp, if you're looking, I don't care about sponsoring me. Sponsor someone else. I don't have the money. This is not monetized. I take no ads. No advertisement. So, I mean, sponsor someone else. I mean, there has been this mental health awareness month, I think. So, just really, your voice matters. You matter. So, don't feel like you're ever trapped and you don't matter. However, on to the sound design. The sound design, again, I just have to mention, is amazing. The interrogations are great. It's not just silent, and you don't just hear Miller and Shauna or Abby or Cleo's voice. There is a foot tapping, and that is what first realises Shauna onto that this is a link between the blue box, and that Miller is not the one behind this. This is a code, as we hear his foot tapping along with Shauna, and he realised that it is a code. The recording, again, statics out when Miller shows a recording of Abby, Shauna, and Cleo hanging out together. When Miller talks about the Doctor, he gets quieter and quieter, and the static again, and the same link as exactly what Jordan said. Cleo, help me. It's just insane. Anything to do with the Doctor, there is something, I don't know, something around the Doctor that is just weird. The background music as Cleo calls Robert's bluff, like a build up to it, and then it's just best. It's just insane, the music. But that is what I thought for Doctor Who episode 5 Interrogation. Let me know what you thought of this episode down in the comments below, and if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share it out. And I will see you in the next one.